Ladies and gentlemen, the lights are up, the crowd is live. Welcome to the battlefield of legends. This frequency pro wrestling.
Frequency pro. Right meets new. Wrestling. Unified role center field.
Vic Vega, and welcome back to Frequency Pro Wrestling, where tonight is night number 1 of our farewell tour. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I find myself in the middle of a rebuild after receiving this message at the latter part of August. And needless to say, I've been working behind the scenes trying to get everything back on track so we can begin our new era here on Frequency Pro Wrestling. So with that being said, that should give you all the incentive in the world to catch our next 4 live streams as we bid some of these creations on the roster that are not ours, that are not coming over to our brand new era. Farewell.
And now, our feature presentation.
Intensify.
We bring in the flame, step in the ring, better learn the name. From the block to the spotlight, it's all the same. Frequency Pro, we redefining the game. Hot sauce, hot sauce, hot sauce, hot sauce. OG grit with a next gen twist. Bell rings loud, can't afford to miss. Lights flash, red crowd jumping in sync. We don't fold, we rain iron fist. Legacy deep, but the style is fresh. We break the mold, no time to rest. From the alley to the ring, we bring finesse. Hot sauce crew, we the ones they test.
Great Awakening, and welcome to the dopest E-Fed on YouTube with your host, Vic Vega.
Live and direct, this is your host Vic Vega, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday, where tonight security has decoded the tape of the attack footage against our Sirens women's champion Fendi, and they will reveal it. In fact, they say that they have a clip of it that is about 75% clear, and we're going to air that to you before we get into tonight's contest. And before we go any further, I'd like to alert you that we have 6 matchups on the card for us tonight. So you know how we do in good old WAW fashion. Enough of me yapping. Let's get on with the scrapping, and we can all bear witness to the things that are about to happen. In other words, Cletus. Yeah, Vic.
Let's get it.
You see the boys in the back doing their thing. Now let's talk about the boys that are in the center of the ring. F.B.I. taking on a makeshift tag team of Valiant Justice and the Biloxi Big Bad. And Casey Reed and Killa T squaring off first. As Killa T comes out on top first with the offensive. And Reed is there to counter it. The matchup in his favor. Welcome in if you are just tuning in. This is Vic Vega, WAW. Tag team action in our very first contest. KC Reed with a backbreaker on Killa T. And another one to follow. And now he tags in his partner, Rudy Lanza. The F.B.I. has not been in competition together in a while. In fact, I've been contemplating whether to keep these two together or not throughout our rebuild. And I've been consulting with the powers that be. And hopefully I'll have a conclusion to the answer to that question sometime in the near future. Lanza with a chop to the head of Killa T and going for a pinfall. Looked like Killa T's foot was on the other side of the rope. Referee with a poor view and couldn't see it. And Lanza stays on him. Rudy Lanza must be hearing that he might be on the chopping block and has come out ferociously tonight in our first contest. KC Reed manhandling the Biloxi Big Bad as Killa T is crawling in a desperate fashion and leaps. And in comes Valiant Justice to the party. And he hits KC Reed with a knee to the gut and comes to the rescue of Killa T with a Kinshasa kick. That's right, y'all. 6 matchups on the card for us tonight as we make our way in these next 4 live streams to say farewell to everybody that will not be on our roster in the future, as KC Reed with a pinfall attempt on Valiant. Ooh, almost got him up out of here with a 2 count. And Valiant Justice is currently being shown none by KC Reed. Elbow to the gut of Valiant Justice. As I stated before, I know I'm going to keep Valiant Justice, and you know I got to keep Killa T. So if I do, I'll probably end up putting them as a tag team. What say you? Put a 1 in the chat if you think Killa T and Valiant Justice will make a good tag team in the future on Frequency Pro Wrestling. Whatever Rudy Lanza had planned didn't go down, but a reversal by Rudy still has him with the advantage. Rear naked choke, assisted rope style by Rudy Lanza. Like I told you, he's come out with a sense of urgency here tonight. Maybe Houston, Texas will be his rabbit foot, and him and his partner, KC Reed, can pull out the victory here in matchup number 1. And while you are at it, help me out with the free stuff, y'all. You know, the liking, the sharing, and the subscribing. Help us grow to new heights. In steps Killa T with a gut punch to Lanza. And now Lanza is getting a taste of his own medicine. Rope hang by Killa T, who is in control and kicking the crap out of Lanza. Well, I thought it'd be a perfect time for a double team move. Instead, Lanza breaks his way out of the enemy's corner with a couple of uppercuts to Killa T. And a third one. Hold up a second. Killa T catches him in mid-act and breaks him down with a couple of boots. Lanza trying to get over there to KC Reed to tag him in, but says the Biloxi Big Bad as he hits Lanza with a spinning powerbomb and goes for a pinfall attempt. KC Reed there too, breaking up only a 2 count. And the match goes on. Valiant Justice back into the fold, stalking Rudy Lanza and hits him with a moonsault and goes for a pinfall on him. Only a 2 count. Nobody can put nobody away in this one as we still wage on. Valiant Justice taking shots at KC Reed. Up on the top turnbuckle, not paying attention to Lanza. But hold on a second, maybe he was. A kick to the grill to Rudy Lanza. And Valiant Justice means business here in matchup number 1. But as I speak, Rudy with the leg lock on. Valiant Justice, who's punching his way up out of it. And limping for a second. And a chin check by Lanza. I told you, Lanza and Reed have come out tonight. Wait a second, out of nowhere. the Spear of Justice by Valiant Justice. And just like that, party people, it's a wrap. Valiant Justice, Killa over the F.B.I. Like I asked you before, put a 1 in the chat for yes, 2 for no, if these two would make one heck of a tag team. Anyhow, get ready and get set for matchup number 2.
From the streets where the struggle made king.
As JVD and Little Drewey lock it up in our second contest of the night.
This is Real Talk Rita, and we are having a sale. Today's likes are free, so do our channel a solid and hit the like man.
Matchup number 2 for us. Juan Van Dam going up against Little Drewey. Here in matchup number 2. JVD getting the better of Drewey. As soon as the bell rings, and Drewey looks to be in his losing form. JVD last time in action was back in September in a title defense against Sinister Simon, who had won himself a number 1 contenders bout to be in that position. Drewey has switched it. Hold on a second. JVD counters it. As soon as Drewey turns the tables, and now the frantic offense is nullified by Little Drewey with a couple of kicks to the hamstring. JVD high capping for the crowd here in Houston, Texas, doing this rendition of Hold Me Back was Drewey. And now Drewey comes out as quick as a hiccup and downs the Devil's Blood champion. Sources tell me that Becca, Sue, and Drewey, which is the last man standing in a lengthy polygamous relationship held by Becca, Sue, and 3 members of Chaos Country. Sources say they were arguing after Ladder Madness and things have not been good with the two. Will Drewey and Becca break it off and Becca be on her own after having 3, count them 3 husbands? That's insane. Anyway, speaking of insanity, the offense of JVD is somewhat insane, and now hot sauce is flowing from the head of Little Drewey. But as I speak, he flips the script, and out the ring goes JVD, and Drewey follows him with 2 feet to the gut. As I stated, Drewey lost the BLM title at Ladder Madness. And if I'd have been paying attention, I would have known that this was a precursor, because that match went on about 10 seconds after the bell rang, and I should have known that something was going on. Shortly after that, everything crashed. I got that dreaded message. Hence, we are in the middle of a rebuild. Drewey off the ropes and a big foot to the face, but it didn't take any effect on JVD, who hops up and whips him into the corner. And oh, Juan Van Dam style, he is back on the offensive. Rolling senton as he goes to the top of the ropes and hits Drewey with a frog splash. Only a 2 count. And while we're on the subject of JVD, I don't think he'll be coming back. as I cannot get his face right, man, for some odd reason. I know some of you out there are probably saying, I know you have a picture of him somewhere. Yeah, I do. But I just don't use face textures. Even to the point where it risks all my players looking alike in the face. I think that's somewhat creepy. Anyway, if I can get over my hang up of not using face textures, then JVD might be back after the rebuild. And if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Resistance Response WAW. In the midst of our first night of our farewell tour. Drewey perching JVD off the rope, throws him outside. Maybe Drewey is trying to get himself a victory via countout. But it couldn't be that as he steps outside, acting like he want to put some damage to the body of JVD, who is woozy at the moment, as Drewey whips him on the other side of the gymnasium. Hold on a second, JVD back with a missile drop kick. This match has been teetering back and forth between these two. Drewey coming out with a fighting spirit, and every time it flames up, JVD plays the role of the fire extinguisher. And down Drewey one more again. Drewey suspended in the air, look like JVD wants to take him for a ride. Standing moonsault, pinfall attempts, and it goes nowhere. These two are still at an even keel in this matchup. JVD still persists with his offense, and Drewey always makes a short comeback as he did right there. But up jumps JVD into a spear from Drewey as he goes for the cover on him. Almost knocked JVD up out the park, but JVD's fortitude shines through, and it seems that frustration is setting into the mental frame of little Drewey. Bulldog off of the middle rope. And now it looks like the last man standing, aka little Drewey, is about to go airborne as he's waiting for JVD. And a kick to the kidney. And another pinfall attempt. Is Drewey gonna do it? No, Juan Van Dam once again out of that situation and into this situation by little Drewey. Hold on a second. Attempted powerbomb, but JVD breaks out. And his Drewey with a drop kick. Leg drop on the former BLM champion as Juan Van Dam goes airborne, and another frog splash as he goes to put this one away. All right, Juan Van Dam, the victor. Hold on a second. Simon, out of nowhere, putting the boots to both of the competitors.
1, 2, 3,
We might have to start calling him Salty Simon after that ambush. Anyhow, party people, stay tuned because our next matchup is Chief Neosho going up against the KC Crusher next on your WAW, the Resistance Response, here on Frequency Pro Wrestling.
This is a DJ Soul Search production.
This is Mitch Fade, and you're watching Frequency Pro Wrestling, the home where every view is viral.
I swear this guy takes a ungodly amount of time to get in the ring. KC Crusher 4-4. How do you take so long to get in the ring? I cut it.
205 45 pounds, Killa.
Yeah, Chief Neosho Juan coming into this battle, former two-time Manhood champion. Now I'll let you know that, yeah, he's going to be coming back to the roster. He's one of our originals from our OG class. In fact, if you saw who was coming back, man, you'd be anticipating this rebuild like I am. 15 wins, 21 losses he has underneath his jacket. And has been a staple on Frequency Pro Wrestling since the beginning. Can the Crusher crush Chief Neosho Juan and get himself some get back from an attack suffered at the hands of Chief Neosho? Bell rings, and the Chief comes out first, right where he left off, with the KC Crusher back in May. As an uppercut straight up flattens the Crusher, and a knee to follow by Neosho. Straight up disrespect by the Chief here in the beginning of this matchup. As he's going for those arms of the KC Crusher, the Chief getting no response, but up jumps a foot to the gut from the Crusher, and the Crusher throws the Chief out of the ring. I thought he was getting ready to go airborne for a second and play the role of a superhero for a minute. Instead, he goes into brawler mode. Hold on a second, the Chief looks like he's getting ready to reverse whatever the Crusher had in store for him. And we are outside of the ring and on to the unforbidden and unforgiving territory, which is outside of the ring. Ropes, falls, count anywhere. As you can see, the Chief going underneath the apron, coming out with a kendo stick, but the Crusher is there to greet him, and he doesn't get to use it. I swear, that's how it goes down here on Frequency. Very few get to wield a weapon that they pull out. It almost makes 0 sense on this brand to go grab a weapon. Might as well go out going toe-to-toe with your opponent. Speaking of toe-to-toe, that leg lock applied on Chief Neosho was broken out of by the KC Crusher with a couple of fists. And the Crusher gives the Chief a taste of the steps. And back around the ring we go. I swear these gentlemen are all over the place, or have been all over the place ever since they left the confines of the ring ropes. And now the Crusher makes a fool out of me and actually gets to use his kendo stick first on Chief Neosho, who comes right back with a fisherman's driver on the Crusher. Only a 2 count as the bout continues. In regards to this rebuild party, people, I can say that I have learned a lot since this data corruption thing went down. One, I found out that no matter what referee you put on your created, or should I say your custom shows, it always has the ability to override that and stick these WWE referees in there, which really pisses me off, because you go through the trouble of creating yourself a referee and then a custom show, and these two companies combined show you that it is not your game, you are just renting it. The Chief coming back after a brief offensive stint by the Crusher, who goes back on the offensive, and then a counter by the Chief. As these two lock it up, my goodness, this one has been deadlocked, even Stevens, if you will. As Neosho, Wadley, and the Crusher gives his body something to wake up to in the form of a vertical suplex, and now he's flexing for the crowd here in Houston, Texas. High knee by the Crusher sends Neosho to the other side of the ropes. And now the Crusher back outside of the ring waiting on Neosho. Hold on a second, a block. And now a bear hug by the Crusher. Wait a minute, that looks like the Chief is getting off a move. For a second there, ear clap sends the Crusher in a vulnerable position, and now he finds himself in a crossface chicken wing applied by Chief Neosho. The Crusher does not tap, and Neosho goes and picks up the kendo stick that was used on him, but he doesn't get to use it as the Crusher came back briefly and put him down, and now the Crusher goes underneath the apron and pulls out another kendo stick. I guess one kendo stick isn't enough to take down the Chief, at least not in this contest. It seems the Crusher has him reeling. Well, hold on, another trip across the ring as the gentlemen make their way around it here in Houston. The Chief using the barricade, but the Crusher was not affected at all, and back into the crossface chicken wing applied by Chief Neosho Wyandotte. And just like that, he makes the Crusher tap.
This is a DJ Soul Search production.
Here is your winner,
Yeah, Chief Neosho with a victory over the KC Crusher here in matchup number 3. And check this. Do you want to see divas duking it out here in our mid-card? Well, stay tuned, because we got a tag team matchup next on Frequency Pro Wrestling. My bad, y'all. I was over there trying to get the poll question to go. Is it up? Should be up. Alright, there we are, man. What has been the best match so far in today's festivities? Yeah, we're going on a tad bit early. Testing out new things here in the Algae Rhythms. My vote is matchup number 2. A lot of context in that one. And I've heard nothing in regards to what the security has done in regards to deciphering the tape. And if you're just tuning in, help us out by hitting the like, share, and sub button. You know the rest. As I catch my breath before we go into matchup number 4. Hey there. Hey there. Yeah, Cletus, what is going on? Can't a brother get a rest up in here? The boys had talked to me and they said that they are finished deciphering the tape. That can't be true because I don't have a copy of it, man. Where is it at? Check your email, homie. What? Cletus trying to get street on me. Check your email, homie. Yeah. Anyway, let me look in here and see what's going on. Alright, y'all. It seems that they've sent me a copy of this tape that has been deciphered in regards to an ambush by an unknown person of interest back at the latter part of July against our Sirens women's champion Fendi. So put your earmuffs on, put your blinders on, whatever it takes for you to get through this, because I'm pretty sure that this is graphic in nature. So here it is, the tape deciphered from the security team in the back. Yeah, that amounts to about a whole bunch of nothing. Hold on a second. There we go. Oh, man. Shovel attack, huh? Anyway, as I stated, this is graphic in nature. So, disclaimer, we don't condone such activities here on Frequency Pro Wrestling. So, with that being said, y'all, we get ready to get on with today's festivities, and we're going to get into matchup number 4 next on Frequency Pro Wrestling.
This is Daryl, yeah, Dusty Daryl. And shout out to the Eye Candy Academy, baby. Woo!
Vic Vega, and after viewing that hard-to-watch footage, security has alerted me to the identity of the perpetrator who perpetrated that critical beatdown against our Sirens women's champion Fendi, and it's none other than Amelia Whitebear. And since she has been spotted on the premises, she's been alerted that she has a matchup with Fendi in our main event. So check this, Amelia Whitebear goes up against Fendi for the Sirens women's championship in our main event. Vic Vega signing off from this brief commercial, non-commercial break, and as always, enjoy the rest of the live stream.
This is Maddie Chatterbox encouraging you to hit the like man. They're only free 99. So once again, hit the like button to help our channel grow.
Are you ready to step into the ring and make your mark in digital wrestling? Don't miss this opportunity to be part of something big, something groundbreaking. Join us on this thrilling journey where every match is a step closer to your dreams. Are you ready to accept the challenge? Then step up, sign up, and show the world what you're made of. Sign up now at KCSA.com/roster spots. The spotlight awaits. Once again, that's KCSA.com/roster spots.
Houston, Texas, are you ready for two tag teams that we haven't seen in a while? In fact, they've been separated so long I didn't even put them together as teams, and they're gonna come out on a solo tip.
This is a tornado tag team match. Introducing first, from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Zezah
in the building. Here in Houston, Texas, and we haven't seen this young lady in action in a bit. In fact, the last time we seen her was at the end of March, or in the middle of March, where she was defending her sister's honor against Marianne Watson. More on that later on in this contest. Zezah coming in on the solo tip at 11 wins and 13 losses. In fact, she has been a staple on our roster ever since our inception. She made her debut back in 22. Her and her partner, which will be coming out soon, have been two-time Frequency Women's Tag Team Champions. And speaking of her partner,
and her partner from Belo Horizonte, Brazil, Zezah Hernandez.
The other half of the Hernandez sisters, Zezah, approaches the ring. And we all know what happened the last time we saw her in action. I don't know what it is about that vending machine, but this is how it ended up. In fact, that beef between her and Marianne Watson has come to its conclusion. In fact, I'm hearing that Marianne Watson has a gigantic announcement that she wants to give to the Vegaverse. Zayn coming in at 12 wins and 8 losses.
And from the city of Atlantis,
Tia Ray. The last time we saw her in solo action was around the 17th of August with her and Hornets in an impromptu match that we had to throw together due to the fact that one of our competitors in another match was gimpy and had to be worked on. Anyway, she fell flat to Hornets' hatchet as she comes into this contest at 9-16. And she has also been a staple on our roster since 2022.
This is a DJ Soul Search production.
Her partner,
and from Jersey City, New Jersey, Shark Girl D.
It's one of our day ones, big baby. Our first ever female request on our roster. Last time she was in solo action was back in April in a #1 contenders contest, including Lil Bobcat and Bad Girl Jill. As you see her being eliminated right there, Bad Girl Jill won that contest, which began a historic rivalry between her and the current Frequency Women's Champion, Nurse Red. Shark Girl D, one of our day ones, and I'll keep echoing that through this trip down memory lane, because this matchup involves a whole lot of history. In fact, they're their old school pictures right there, and you see the records. The favorite girls at 8-3 and Aquatic Menace at 9-3. Zezah looked like she was getting ready to get a powerbomb off, but Shark Girl D breaks her way out of it and hits her with a fury of fists and stuns one of our powerhouses on our roster and goes for a cover, but Zayn with the ring awareness broke up the attempted pinfall. Mantia Ray with an errant moonsault, missing everything. And the last time we saw the Flavor Girls in action was on the 24th, well, back in 2024 in February, as they teamed up against Shark Girl D and Akira Okoye. In fact, these two have a history with each other as they went up against each other back in 22. You see them going at it, and it seems that it didn't end so well for the Flavor Girls, as Mantia Ray with the pinfall sent him home with a loss. But it doesn't look like it's going down like that right about now, at least on Zayna's end of things, as she's straight up molly-whopping Mantia Ray. And likewise to Shark Girl D and Zezah. But as I speak, Zezah flips the script on Shark Girl D, who counters her, as Zayna persists to lay the beat down on Mantia Ray. Yeah, these scenes go way back, and they have been a staple on our roster for an infinity. In fact, 2 or maybe 3, well, we're keeping Shark Girl D. So 2 and possibly 3 of these ladies will not be making their way back onto the roster. And as I look at our upcoming matches in our next 3 live streams, they are not on the card, so this very well might be the last time that you see these 3 in action here on Frequency Pro Wrestling. This has turned into a major incident, bodies flying everywhere, as the teams have switched partners. And no matter the partner, it seems that Zezah is getting the boots brought to her. But as I speak, she whips Mantia into the ring and gets a tad bit of distance. And now Zezah goes on the offensive. Samoan drop on Mantia Ray as Zezah goes for a pinfall attempt. 1.5 count. And the ladies are all back in the square circle. Big Vega here, and if you are tuning in with us, help us out by hitting the like, share, and sub buttons. After all, it costs you nothing, and it helps our channel grow. And much praise to everybody that's been hitting that sub button. We're growing. Within the last 6 months, we picked up an extra 40 subs, and I thank you for that. In fact, with all the rebuilding going on I hate to be disrespectful to our newest members. 1 count. And I will make it a priority to create a new subs graphic so I can fly your names and officially welcome you to the family. Zezah still partners with Mantia Ray as Shark Girl D is doing damage to the palms of Zayn. And Zezah underneath the ring and pulls out a hockey stick and goes to work on both members of Aquatic Menace. Women wielding weaponry. Wonderful indeed. Float over arm bar. That is countered by Zezah as she hits. Mantia with a belly to back suplex goes for a pinfall attempt. Shark Girl D there to break it up in 1. And the match wages on. This is Divas causing devastation, indubitably, here in matchup number 4 on Whoop Ass Wednesday. Mantia with the float over stunner. And just like that in old school fashion, Aquatic Menace over the Flavor Girls.
Here are your winners.
All right, party people on your feet. As Aquatic Menace is 2-0 over the Flavor Girls, as you saw the earlier graphic, where the Flavor Girls dumped 1. And now Aquatic Menace stands at 10-3. Stay tuned, party people, because after this one, we're going to a brief break, and then it's on with the action here at the Resistance Response called Revolution event live stream. Welcome you in once again. And as you step through the door, help me out by hitting the like, share, and sub button. You know, a form of respect, like wiping your feet on the rug when you go into a premises. Thank you for rocking with us as we wait for everybody to come in for matchup number 5. All right, everybody, get ready. Sinister Simon going up against one of the most positive individuals on our roster in Gary Gamer.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Manchester, England, weighing in at 194 pounds, Funky Dr. Sinister.
Yeah, Simon, one half of the Funky OGs, our own staff doctors, if you will. And you saw him earlier clear the house at the end of the JDD and Drewey matchup. I don't know what that's about, but hell, we might start calling this cat Salty Simon. 4 wins and 1 loss, that loss being a championship matchup that he had against JBD back in August. And his competitor that is set to hit the ring, one of the most positive individuals on staff, Gary Gamer, party people.
And his opponent from Springfield, Illinois, weighing in at 159 pounds, Gary Gang R.
Yeah, Gary's last action, he did not win the open contract briefcase. You saw his record at 4-9. But he still remains positive and has such a positive attitude that Gary is going to be one of the ones that stick around on the roster during the rebuild. As the bell tolls, Simon comes out with a code breaker and goes for a pinfall. A 1 count trying to put my man out of here early as Simon makes the connection. And down goes Gary with a Hurricanrana takedown. Airplane spin takedown, excuse me. Kind of baffled as to the things that have happened. My rebuild. The postponement of the live stream. I apologize. Postponement of Ladder Madness. My allergies have been messing up and I took a couple of days off and had to reschedule it. And once again, mad apologies for that one. But heck, you can't contend with Mother Nature, and sometimes your body gets to you and tells you to lay it down like Simon is laying down right now because of Gary flipping him across the ring. As we go back outside, Simon misses and Gary's there with a baseball bat, bringing it to the dock. Hot sauce from the head of Sinister Simon, rightfully so, attacking Drewey. And JVD earlier. Frankensteiner takes down Gary, and Simon grabs control of the match and control of Gary by the hair and whips him into the ring. And back inside we go. A missed missile drop kick, and Gary misses as well. My goodness. Sloppy wrestling as Gary hops back up, and Simon connects that time with a leg drop. Hot sauce dripping from the forehead of Simon as he goes outside in this Extreme Rules matchup and grabs a chair, but Gary makes sure he doesn't get a chance to use it. And Simon's staring up at the ceiling. Double leg drop to the midsection of Simon, and Gary definitely in the driver's seat in this matchup. As he goes for the chair that Simon was once wielding, and it's used against him for a couple of times. Gary with the wheelbarrow DDT onto the chair and goes for a pinfall attempt. Only a 2 count, and the bout continues. As stated before, I've learned a lot during this rebuild, and one thing that I'm going to continue to echo that ticks me off, hold up a second, floating DDT by Simon, downs Gary Gamer, Mr. Positivity on our brand. Yeah, one thing that ticks me off is that big giant logo right there on that ref's shirt. As I stated before, I know it's all a rules, especially how things are going. WWE selling out to an overseas company. The transition, or should I say this transition, that they put upon the new game. I smell a rat. In other words, I do not trust the company. Mark my words. If they are flagging people's channel for merely showing the moments when you start your game up, then they gonna try something with that logo, so y'all better be ready. A 10 count, and Simon's counted out, and he's out for the count. Gary with a victory going into our rebuild, our brand new era that's scheduled to go down after our very last live stream of our farewell tour. All right, party people, get ready and get set, because we have a championship bout in our main event next. on Whoop Ass Wednesday.
This is Zoned Out Ziggy from the Eye Candy Academy. And when life dropkicks your dreams, remember this.
Talk about this heated feud between these two in a second.
The following contest is a Falls Count Anywhere match and is for the Valiant Zone Impact Fighting Championship.
All right, Sirens Women's Championship on the line here in our main event.
This is
And
a
the
DJ
first
Soul
competitor
Search
to
production.
enter the ring, the challenger, all the way from Wichita, Kansas, Amelia Whitebear, who we have not seen in about 5 months. She's been in and out for personal reasons, along with nagging injuries. Her and her niece, Little Bobcat, defeated a makeshift team in Zezah and Taryn Jerry. Taryn Jerry well under 10 matches. I don't think she's had even 7 to this point. We'll be seeing more of her in the near future as she's coming along with us. Speaking of coming along, there's our champ right there. Sirens Women's, to be exact. All the way from Kansas City, Kansas. Fendi in the house. These two, well, shall I say, it's been a one-sided feud as Fendi cannot get any rest with Amelia Whitebear around. And I'll yap about that as we get deeper into the match. Because I don't want anybody ignorant to the facts that are behind this feud right here. All right, y'all. Let's get it.
Introducing the challenger from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Amelia
Sneak Attack ought to be her name. 5 wins, 9 losses.
And her opponent from Kansas City, Kansas, the Alliance Zone Impact Fighting Champion,
14 wins, 19 losses for 2. Count 2 times. Sirens Women's Champion. I know she's coming back, but all I gotta say is she's a mainstay, and that's why she's coming back. And looks like she's got a tall task ahead of her here in the main event. Amelia Whitebear is coming along for the ride too. We'll make the jump to the new era. Fendi finally getting to issue out some justice of her own after being jumped by Amelia Whitebear. And check this out right here. These two incidents are not one and the same as you see the dates in the corners there. The first one happened on the 30th of July. And if you were checking us out on Sunday, you'd know that we had an incident at the end of the live stream, and that was it, the one on the right. Amelia trying to get weaponry involved, but Fendi ain't having it and going for the ankles with that death lock. The one thing about that, her coming from where she comes from, she definitely can get out of a submission hold. The estranged wife of Chief Neosho Juan died. Not knowing why she don't have her last name. I don't know. His last name. I don't know. Get a hold of yourself, you conservatives. You're full of it. Anyway. Both sides are full of it. That's why I'm in the middle. Anyway. Speaking in the middle. Fendi's in the middle of a beatdown being issued out by hold up a second. A small quick wrap up. And Fendi almost put it out of reach for Amelia. Now Amelia in comeback mode. What in the heck just happened to the AI? My goodness, she froze in mid-stride. See what I mean? Man. Stop giving these people your money. They got more than you do. And they laugh every time they see y'all wish list on all these platforms. Another attempt at that leg lock is broken once again by Amelia, who is laboring on that left leg as well. But you can't give Fendi just an inch because she'll take a mile and use it like she's using a barricade as a weapon to put down Amelia Whitebear. Now Fendi's really gonna get down and dirty, pulling out a sledgehammer. There goes that frequency jinx. You pull a weapon out, you usually don't get to do anything with it, because it's either knocked out of your hand or turned against you. Fendi really getting vicious, and she doesn't know which part of the body to focus on. She's just handing her a beat down all over as a small package wrap up, in effect, is flipped by Fendi and flipped back by Amelia and back by Fendi. Nobody was the victor of that exchange of reversals. Stewart. The attempted pinfall. Fendi. What a nice move, downing Amelia Whitebear and going back to that left leg she was working on earlier. And if you're hanging around at the end of this one, help me out by dropping a comment in the comment section and also be on the lookout for the thumbnail for the next contest. If I'm not mistaken, we're in Oklahoma City next week as we make our way back up towards the home base. Speaking of base, Amelia's going straight for the core of Fendi, taking the air out of her sails. But the champ must have heard me talking bad about her and has whipped the match in her favor out of nowhere like grease lightning. Whipped off the ropes and hammered by Amelia. Not looking too good here for the champ, because if she's not careful, she's going to walk up out of this one beltless and sobbing her way into the new era. Amelia Whitebear showing off her capabilities here in Houston, as she's absolutely woman-whopping the champion at the current. Back and forth exchange of fists, and Fendi goes up and over the ropes and onto the floor. I'm questioning the logic of Amelia, why she didn't go out there and finish Fendi off is beyond me. Hold on a second, maybe because of that kid-do stick and the frequency curse is broken, or at least for a couple of seconds. Back comes Fendi, hold on, a counter by Amelia. Every time Fendi seems to try to get ahead, Amelia is there like a speed bump as the inverted power slam onto the outside of the ring floor and almost landed us a brand new champion. But the current champion showing the fortitude of a lioness. Hold on a second, she dodges a potential senton by Amelia. And now Fendi finally gets herself a couple of seconds rest away from the onslaught. Hold on a second, a chair upside the head of her challenger. Left her woozy enough for Fendi to hit her with a cutter. And that unforgiving floor has to be a factor in this one. As the champ, stalking in finish her off mode. And locks in her vicious finisher. The big bank take, little bank, big baby. Will Amelia tap out before I can get the words out? She did. And Fendi still remains our Sirens Women's Champion.
Here is your winner, and still Alliance Zone.
Yeah, kudos to the champion finally getting some get back after 2 sneak attacks by Amelia Whitebear. I don't know how this is going to play out in future roles in the new era. And I guarantee you it's going to be entertaining to say the least. Anyhow, thank you for tuning in to this edition of WAW, The Resistance Responds special event live stream as we walk our way into our farewell to that tour that will be going down within the next 3 live streams. Great awakening, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the day. And I hope you had a great one so far as well. Check it. This has been Frequency Pro Wrestling. We are the home where every view is viral. We're not entitled to your viewership, but when you give it to us, mad appreciation for it. And before we get up out of here, we gonna hear some words of wisdom by the most positive man on the roster. Hit him, Gary G.
In the tapestry of life, it's the unique threads that make the most captivating pictures.
Vic Vega inviting you to tune in and hit your bell notifications as I will be dropping the information for our next event on it. Mad love, and remember, as always, every day above ground is a good day because you are here on the planet able to fight through your adversities and create yourself a brand new reality up in this effed up world that we living in. Party people, till the next time, y'all.